No, we did not.
You're cutting out.
We
Am I?
didn't get a...
Guys,
Sorry,
am I cutting out?
I just realised the stream hadn't started, so hello from the stream.
Right,
Are
Aaron
you
seems a
kidding
bit...
me?
Aaron seems a bit
Can we
laggy.
sack the cameraman, please? Can we just
No,
sack him?
no. He's the best we got. Anyways, Emperor, how do we feel about the selection?
It's... Well, I mean, it's been a complete turnaround from last election when we saw left-wing parties getting well over half the vote, but it appears it's going to be a lot more balanced this time, and we've seen the Greens deregistered, so we've gone back down to 4 parties. And then we saw Fine Gael, they got a boost in polling. We saw they got well over 20 more votes on opinion polling than they had in the last election, which was quite shocking. So I don't know if we're going to see them become the kingmakers maybe in this election. But yeah, I honestly have no idea what's going to happen tonight. There's not really a clear trend to see. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with the deregistration of the Green Party, there's going to be an obvious rise in the party numbers here. And with the lack of the 5th party, one party is going to get their votes. And I honestly think with their performance this election in the debate, across the entire race, I think we will see a huge rise in Fianna Fáil's votes.
I think I'm sorry for butting in here, but we also can't rule out here Fine Gael, as I just mentioned, because based off what I've seen on recent polls, Fine Gael look set to have probably their biggest vote share since Oswald took over as leader. So and considering his past reputation, that is quite impressive, if I do say myself.
It is very.
I think something
I know
to
Aaron's
note,
having.
I think something to note is not True Donald. We've seen a lot of support for Huey. I mean, I personally have. Like, I've already seen people calling him the People's Taoiseach and everything. But I haven't seen as much from Fine Gael, but we still see them doing quite well in polls. Like, they're third I think they were third in the most recent poll I've seen. But that was at like 20 votes, so third isn't that bad when you're getting 20 votes, and so are all the other parties. So I think we definitely have quite a meteoric rise for both parties here, from 3 seats and 1 seat all the way to the 2 largest parties in the door, or potential largest parties.
Well, we're getting the results in from the exit poll, I believe, but whilst they flow through, we have, obviously, with the deregistration of the Green Party, we have the former Green Party leader, not Leah, but Bo, going to Fine Gael, becoming one of their key campaigners, de facto deputy leader, and their debater. And, well, the performance in the debate, controversial as always with Bo. In her last Green Party debate, we saw a real change in her character. She was very well kept together, very well spoken. She had her points. She was obviously clearly prepared, had notes. But this time, from what I've heard and what I saw, it got quite shouty. What are the panel's opinions on that?
Yeah, she sort of went in there and picked a fight with everybody from what I saw as an audience viewer. I'm not sure what she was. I thought she was going like try and coalition with one of these parties, but she seems to have alienated the other 3 parties. So I'm just not sure what options that the Fine Gael have for coalition partners if they do become the largest party.
Okay, I believe we have the exit poll results. So if Noah would like to go ahead and say them.
Thank you very much. And may I first of all say that this one is a bit of a shocker for some. So I'll just go ahead and get right into it. So the exit poll has projected Fianna Fáil will get, based on the exit polling, Fianna Fáil will get 15 seats, Fine Gael with 5 seats, Social Democrats with 4 seats, and Labour with a lowly 1 seat. That is huge for Fianna Fáil.
That's okay, but I think what we should be wary of is when they did the exit poll, they set it to be you only needed to use your email like any old email. So I think that could easily be distorted and not true.
Yeah. Obviously,
Uh,
there's
I
always
would
been
keep
doubt
that in mind.
revolt surrounding the exit poll, as we saw last election with the Greens predicted 1 seat and they ended up with, was it 5 or 6? Not sure. It doesn't really matter the precise number, but they had far more.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be that area of doubt. I'm unsure whether, pardon me, Al Jazeera has a planned exit poll to come out. But if
I
they
don't think
do,
so.
or a prediction, I heard something of a prediction. Is there one?
I will quickly
Well-
say the current results in the map corner. Those are only the exit poll, not the actual results yet. Just before anyone gets confused.
I mean, that would be insane. Fianna Fáil on 15 seats. That would be insane.
So do we think
This
this is
would-
realistic
if it
exit poll
was-
then?
This would be the first majority in such a long time in Ireland.
That
It
would be the
give-
biggest majority.
the biggest, one of
Yeah.
the only
think that-
one, the only
yeah.
we've seen this year. I don't know if there was one last year, but there is rarely a majority. And if this happens, Fianna Fáil will be able to, without criticism, without any trouble, push through their agenda. And we'll have to.
Well, not
wait and
really,
see.
because
The
the
only
thing
reason they
is,
won't.
Also,
the
Democrat
thing is,
majority
though-
in the
that's lovely. Yeah. Basically, in the Shannon, it's very much more split. Like, even if the Social Democrats lost all their seats this election, hypothetically, in the Shannon, they would still have 3 seats. So it's a different story in the Shannon compared to the Dáil.
Right.
Um,
Oh, 1 second. We're heading to the spin room now with our correspondent Vic. If she's in the VC, she is. Let me bring her up. And we got a few party leaders in here. So we should bring them up too. Who have we got? We've got True Donald with Fianna Fáil.
Yeah, these aren't all party leaders. We have blah blah. I don't care for the
representatives.
Social Democrats. He's only a fill-in until I believe Eamon McGrath can get in. Then we also have Oisin, who I would assume is representing Labour. And then obviously True Donald as Fianna Fáil.
Well,
Everybody,
Vic,
how are you doing today?
Vic, ask your questions, love.
Right.
Hello.
Well, so as we've seen the exit poll results, this is quite shocking. I would like to ask you, Donald, what are your thoughts about this?
If that exit poll is true, that's very good for us. I don't think it's necessarily the most accurate, but I do hope so.
Okay, and Oisin, let's just carry on with you. What do you think about this?
Well, I mean, a few elections ago, Labour was predicted 0 seats in an exit poll, and they won a majority in the actual election results. But I mean, whatever the final numbers are, we're proud to have campaigned positively, and we're going to keep working to represent everyone.
Okay, thank you for that. And blah blah, do you have anything to say about this as well?
About the exit poll?
Well, yeah.
I mean, the the results might be very skewed because, as the person said before me, ago wasn't. Again, it's only email, and yeah, not all people vote in exit polls. The results can be very skewed.
Yeah, I see. We've seen in the past that obviously the exit poll isn't always the most accurate, but obviously it's always somewhat of a early
Warning, yeah.
Yeah, a warning or
Prediction.
well, not prediction, but yes. Considering that Fianna Fáil last term had about, let me check.
3 seats.
3 seats, yes.
It was
That would
2, I
be-
think.
No, it was 2.
Oh no, 2.
Yeah,
sorry.
2. That would be a gain of 13 seats. That's quite a lot. If I'm not wrong, that might be the biggest seat pickup ever in an Irish election. But yes, what would you say about that, Donald?
Or I would say it's a testament to what the people want. What the people want has been competent governance, and you've always gotten that with Finafol. You've always gotten wonderful people, and I have to attribute it to Francis. I have to attribute it to Sunday. And if I'm so humble, I might attribute it to myself a little bit. We ran a very competitive campaign. We did wonderful things in the Dáil this term, despite having 2 seats and 1 in the Shannon. And we did phenomenal with what we were given. We used every resource possible to win. And now it looks like we are going to have the biggest comeback in Irish history.
Thank you for that. Right. What else would I? Yes, okay. With that, I want to thank the representatives. We're going back to the panel now.
Well, I believe we have an Al Jazeera prediction coming in that I believe Emperor has to hand.
Yes, I do. We've got we project Al Jazeera that Fianna Fáil will be the largest party with 12 seats. So they will not have a majority. There will be one short, but the Social Democrats will have 6 seats. Labour will have 4 seats, and Fine Gael will have 4 seats as well. So that would make the Social Democrats the official opposition unless they coalitioned with Fianna Fáil. But that's quite interesting because it's similar to the other poll we saw from RTE. It's just 3 less seats, but not a majority. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's important to note that regardless of which direction the election might go, I think it's also important to note that the Social Democrats have a majority in the Shannon. So even if, and I don't know how long it will be, because I think the Shannon election is in July as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I don't know how long it would give them with that Shannon majority. But if there is one thing that we can say for sure, is that while they might be in that new Dáil term and whatnot, I think they'll be wanting to use that majority to make sure that they hold any incoming government's policies to account. And even if they fail in the Dáil, they can always use the Shannon to shut it down. I mean, yes, they can't kill the bill in the Shannon, but they can most certainly, they can most certainly
delay it significantly.
They can delay it for 1 month.
They can hold it back, and they can basically.
It's 2 weeks. It's not 1 month.
But they also
propose a
can.
motion to-
No, it is. Yeah, you can motion to extend it by 2 months and 2 weeks, and then you can also propose wrecking amendments to destroy it completely.
Well, yeah. But no, basically, at this point, the Social Democrats will want to use that time wisely. That's my point. And another thing I also think we should point out, regardless of of what the seat count might be, I think it's fair to say that Fianna Fáil do stand a chance of being the largest party in this election at least. Because both exit polls that we've seen from Al Jazeera and RTE, they basically say the same thing, that Fianna Fáil are set to become the largest party. It's just a case of how many seats. So I think that's something to keep an eye out for in this election. Even if they don't get 12 or they don't get 15, I think they'll get a respectable amount. But I think a point was also raised by Oisín as well, that Labour was projected 0 points a few elections ago, and yet they managed to pick up a few seats. So you can't really count any parties out. And I don't think it's fair to count Labour and the Social Democrats out yet until we have a more clearer picture as to few seat counts in, we have a more clearer picture of what the direction might be headed towards.
Yeah, I think we can certainly expect a drop in Social Democrat and Labour numbers with what we've seen across the past term, with a coalition blowing up, and then a second coalition exploding, and then the promised peace that we never got. It just turned to actual infighting within our own government, within our own systems, in our own country, which really helps no one. And I think those parties have lost a lot of trust. They were very credible. They had Oscar, who gave them an amazing platform. Then Noah won with a coalition. And then obviously things went a bit downhill from there. But I think really what people are looking for, what the electorate is hoping for, is an alternative that can really turn things around. And the only two people that are still there that can offer that are Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, because they haven't been in government for these last 2 terms.
They've mainly stayed out of even with all the political chaos going on. I think they've mainly stayed out of it, if that makes sense. They've not bothered to engage in it because they knew that, or well, I wouldn't say they knew, but I think they probably had in the back of their minds that something like this wouldn't go down too well with the electorate. So I think staying out of it was probably the smart thing to do, and then they can boost their polling numbers from there instead of getting involved with any potential coalition government with Labour in that coalition government at that time, and basically, having a collapse in support.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong though.
I think something important to bring up is in the Al Jazeera prediction, their exit poll. That would place all other parties in a similar situation as we saw with Oscar and the Social Democrats, where they had won 11 seats, and the only other way a coalition could be formed if the entire opposition decided to form a coalition with themselves. So it would either be Fianna Fáil and one party, or a 3-way coalition. So it is an interesting predicament for these parties to be in, especially when it turns into, having 2 or 1 seats off of a majority, because like I said, it forces the opposition parties to all work together, either it all just collapses. So if Fianna Fáil, even if they don't get the majority, if they get those 11 or 12 seats, that does put them in a very great position to get into government.
I agree, and I think it's fair to say that this campaign they've been preparing for it for a while, because when they started calling for it, I think it was around towards I think it was a couple of weeks towards the end of the last Dáil term. I think when they started calling for that election, that's when they started preparing for it, because then once it came round, they could have a solid policy platform. And to be fair to Francis, he's a very good leader. I'll give him that. He has consistently represented his party and has always got himself out there as someone who can lead. So
we have our first results. So if we go over to the map, we have a Fianna Fáil hold in Connacht, we have a Labour hold in South Leinster, and we have a Fine Gael gain in Midlands from the Green Party, who have obviously dissolved. So that is, let me just change from the exit poll.
Does this look to be on track with both the exit polls we've seen?
Well, right now
I think it's too early to say, Emperor, because based off what I've seen in previous election nights that I've done, it starts off with looking similar to what the exit poll says, but then really at one point in the election, it all goes completely sideways, and then goes way off. So, and I think the only time, and only one time that the exit poll had actually been accurate, and that was like 2021 or 2022. I think I might be wrong, but I think right now the exit poll I think it serves as mainly I wouldn't say a general direction of where the wind is blowing, but I would say it's a hint. And with these exit polls, you can never be certain that they're accurate. Sure, there has been instances where they come close, but at the end of the day, they've never really been truly spot on. So, I mean, it gives us a direction as to what might be the case, but like mentioned earlier, it's with this exit poll. It could be a little bit, I wouldn't say rigged, but corrupted in a sense, in that multiple people have voted multiple times on alter counts or whatever. So I'm not saying that has happened, but you can never rule anything out.
Yeah, that's entirely possible because you can just create Google Mail accounts over and over and just keep
Mm.
pressing the party
Exactly.
button. Yeah, using a private tab to log in every time on a Google
Yeah,
form.
exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Emperor, you know how to do this a
But
little too well.
Dan,
No, I haven't done that actually.
Dan,
Thank you.
unless the camera's on the map, your mic is off.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So at
Exactly.
the panel,
Cameraman does not have speaking rights.
no, this is not. Excuse me. Uh, so we've just seen every party get a gain, bar the Social Democrats. Is this a trait that we're going to be seeing throughout the rest of the night? Where we know how long elections take. We could be here for another hour and a half. So as results trickle in, what do we expect to see once again? What are your updated predictions with the results we've just received?
I'm going to jump in here because obviously I led the Social Democrats last term, and we were counted out at the beginning because we all saw that other parties started picking up seats way before we did, and then we suddenly made a sudden course and direction and then cruised to the win. So I think it's obviously there obviously is a bit of a hint, like I mentioned, but as to if this is going to be a trend, I'd say wait until the fourth or fifth batch of results, and then that's when you can truly say, "Oh yeah, this is the direction that we're going to see." Because from my own previous experience, you can't count it. Well, no, that's the wrong way to say it. From my own previous experience, parties could start off very terribly in election nights, and then do a complete 180 and just absolutely obliterate the other parties and cruise to the win. So, like I said, just wait until the fourth or fifth batch of results, and then we can start commenting on if this is going to be a consistent trend, or because the Social Democrats they could start picking up seats soon, but you never know.
Look, my prediction as a member of this panel is a Fianna Fáil win, whether it's a majority, which honestly, it's not an opinion. It is, well, it's my opinion, but I believe wholeheartedly that they have deserved this. Their policies are probably the best, they're the most different. And I think every election we see the Fianna Fáil offering the diverse policies, and they have campaigned as best they can, and notoriously Fianna Fáil is the worst campaigner with the most low standard graphics, not to be mean, but they are like PowerPoint slides, but they've really tried, and I think Francis is a very competent person, and I think if the Irish electorate has listened to the debates and read the manifestos, then I think we will be set to have a Fianna Fáil government this election. And I know, well, I'm unsure whether Fianna Fáil is currently in speaking terms with Fine Gael. Maybe one of them will DM me to confirm. But I'm wondering if there will be any possible coalitions. I think we should head back to the spin room and ask the party representatives if they have any coalition ideas. So if we could go there. Cameraman, please. Thank you.
You make it sound like I'm incompetent or something.
Yeah,
That wouldn't be a lie.
Excuse me, we'll have no disrespect from the party leaders.
My bad.
So yes, first of all, we can now welcome the party leader of the Social Democrats, Eamon McGrath, to the spin room. He has finally arrived. Hello. Is he? Yeah.
Yes, good evening.
All right. So as you've seen the results, let me just pull them up myself. So Fine Gael gain from the Green Party. Okay, there's no Green Party anymore. That makes sense. Yeah, Labour and Fianna Fáil holds. Yeah. Nothing too special yet, I would say. So how do we feel about this? I'll just go around. We'll start with Donald.
Well, this is very terrific, very terrific. With these holds, it's very early to say. But as for coalitions, we're open to coalitions. We're open to them with most parties, but they have to be aligned with Irish ideals, and we don't have any further comment on that.
Okay. You've already mentioned coalitions, so I just wanted to ask about how you guys feel about coalitions going off of these current results. So, Eamon, go ahead.
Yes. So,
Oh.
yes. So what I think now is very important to remember is that we don't still have the full scale of results in, and everything and anything can still change. But for now, I would expect us to actually do quite well. You know, based on the exit poll. Of course, with the exit poll suggesting us not being the largest party, I think we are already seeing a trend that it might go actually to Fianna Fáil, but I'm not ruling anything out yet. And coalition-wise, we're open to coalitioning with anyone that shares our values and our, mission to make Ireland a better place.
Okay. And what are your opinions on any coalitions, Oisin?
Well, we're not ruling anything out just yet. You know, I mean, our priority is to work with others across the political spectrum, and we want to deliver a stable and effective government that reflects the broad center ground of our country. So we're open to working with anyone. You know, we haven't ruled anyone out yet.
Okay, I see. And you done it just basically already said when you answered the first question. Yes, I've got another question for Oisin. That would you coalition with a party that you have disrespected once again, or well, again?
Well, I mean, like I said, we're open to working with anyone, and you know, we're willing to put the past behind us. You know, I mean, it's politics at the end of the day, and Labour's under new leadership. You know, it's got a new focus now, so hopefully the parties can put everything behind each other and continue to work together.
All right, thank you. Right. I think unless anyone else has anything to say about this, we can go back to the panel.
Right. Well, we've just heard from the party leaders, and obviously it is early days, so we have minimal opinions on coalitions. But as Vic asked, in the last term, we saw Oisin going to a half-hearted coalition with the Social Democrats after disrespecting them almost and slating them the entire campaign trail. So I think Ireland is left wondering, will they coalition again with a party that they don't necessarily agree with just for the sake of the power? And I think that's a question for all parties.
Sorry, we had an invader on stage there.
Oh. No, sit back down. Opinions on the panel, please. Come on, guys, we're all here to speak.
Opinions on what, sorry?
I will.
Jesus, let Erin go.
I will say this. Obviously, last term we saw such conflict between the Social Democrats and Labour. At the start of the term, we had the big betrayal from the Labour Party when they pulled out of the initial coalition with the Social Democrats. And obviously, everyone was shocked when then again Eamon did decide to go into coalition with Labour. So honestly, I don't see Labour and Social Democrats coalitioning, at least for a while, under new leadership, maybe, but I just don't see it happening in this current climate.
And on Labour's new leadership, with Oisin being sat in the spin room and Sulin not, with Oisin still doing the majority of campaigning, do we think that the leadership is actually new?
Yeah, is Labour
Oh,
actually
sorry,
under new
we
leadership?
we have results. We have results. Apologies for that. So we first have an Social Democrats hold in Dublin North, a stronghold for them historically, and we also have Fianna Fáil holding in Ulster. So the Social Democrats now sit on 1 seat, gaining their first seat, and Fianna Fáil poll 1 seat ahead with 2 seats. So each party now has a seat. Going back over to the panel then.
Well, there we go. We have more. We have the first gain from the Social Democrats and a second from Fianna Fáil. Well, not a gain, a hold, but we have now the numbers going up for Fianna Fáil. They have the most amount of seats as it stands, and another from the first gain from the Social Democrats. So, what do we think about that, members of the panel?
It's very interesting because this could be a very hung doll, I think, just by so far. But obviously, we can't confirm anything yet because it's only count 2 out of 9, I believe. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how it's going out so far. All parties now have at least 1 seat. Fianna Fáil in the lead, which could mean like what is to come. Maybe like they will retain the lead, or maybe they'll get overtaken by another party. We just don't know yet. It's really interesting though so far.
And we have Fianna Fáil right now, the biggest party. Yet they have the. Wait, how many seats did they have last term? Was it 2? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They have already reached the amount of seats that they held last term. So we are led to believe that there is only up from here. What does this mean for politics in Ireland? What do we think is going to happen? What do we think about the possible coalitions? Do we think that they'll get a majority?
I don't think the Social Democrats and Labour will ever get back together after what just happened. Not at least under current leadership, but maybe I think Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael might partner up. It depends how much damage Bo did on that debate last night. So yeah, it really all does come down into like how the parties are going to negotiate with each other and what each party wants out of a coalition agreement. Because bearing in mind there are elections to the Seanad next month, I do believe in July, which will determine the makeup of the chamber.
Wait, the Seanad and Dáil are being done differently.
Yeah, this is an early election.
Of the early Dáil election, yeah. I think it's. I do kind of concur with the point that Social Democrats and Labour won't coalition for a while, because that bad taste of what happened last time is still, it's still occurring.
It's still in. I get what you mean. It's still in the air whenever they're around. You can sort of sense the tension in the air.
And then I think there's always going to be a sense of hostility between those two parties. So I don't think they'll have a coalition again.
I've just received a lovely email from Bo. It's lovely. I'm not going to read it out, but it's really nice.
Nice. Anyways, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. No, I'm joking. I think with Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, I wouldn't say they're actively like buddies with each other, but I don't think they actively, oppose each other, so to speak. As in, like I don't think there is any vendetta between the two parties. So if there was to be, a hung doll and a coalition needed to be formed, I wouldn't rule out a coalition between Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, because those are the two largest parties, well, based off the exit poll, and we've seen that in recent opposition parties from really making any damage towards their government. So, but I also wouldn't rule out, a potential three-way coalition between Fianna Fáil, Social Democrats, and maybe Labour as well. So well, I wouldn't say, well, maybe not the two Social Democrats and Labour in the same coalition. I just contradicted myself there. But my point is, whoever this the largest party is, I think they'll tend to go with the second largest party just to really firm up that majority.
Okay, and we're going to head to the spin room now, just to get the party leaders' opinions on this. So, Vic.
Yes, right. So, second batch of results. Very interesting so far. Only basically no gains yet, just holding seats. Right, let me just ask something here real quick for Donald. So we've received some information from a representative from Fine Gael, and they said that Fine Gael does not have a problem with Fianna Fáil, and they would be apparently happy to coalition with them. And that, yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, quite frankly, what I think is that our coalitions must be dedicated to what the people voted Fianna Fáil for. They voted for stability, they voted for success, and ultimately they voted for honesty. We want a coalition based off these values with integrity, and that's what the Irish people want and demand. And as the Republican Party, we are first and foremost dedicated to those values. So when it comes to coalitions, it's like I said earlier, we're open to coalitions with all parties who want to share our values and advance them and make the Republican Party very great.
And well, do you think Fine Gael fulfills those values at all, or?
For Fine Gael fulfilling these, frankly, hold on, let me get my talking points. They're uploading them right now.
Well, right, okay. In the meantime, let me just ask Eamon, what do you think about your first seat and that? Oh yeah, what are your thoughts about your first seat here?
Well, it's of course very good for us to actually be keeping that seat, and I do find it important that we actually have also those seats coming in, because at the start I was a bit skeptic, but I'm feeling now very very optimistic, and essentially we have worked hard. We have a renewed leadership. This election has not been an easy one to fight for.
Okay, thank you. Donald, are you ready now?
Absolutely. They told me, they DM'd me, they say, just be Donald. So I said, okay, I guess I'll have to just be Donald. When it comes to Fine Gael, we've got a... Look, I don't mind Oswald. People hate him, but I haven't had too many problems with him personally. He's been very nice to me when other people have not been so kind to me. But when it comes to Bo, they say brainless Bo. People say that. I don't say that. That's very rude. So I wouldn't say it. But
sorry, we are
brainless
gonna
Bo,
need to...
they don't want a coalition with brainless Bo.
Excuse me,
So-
we're not at the map.
Hunter, if you could just shorten it up, because we do have some more results coming in. Apologies to interrupt you. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But we have Fianna Fáil gaining from the Social Democrats in Shannon. Shannon has historically been very Social Democrats orientated, I'm pretty sure. But then we also have Fianna Fáil gaining from Labour in Munster. And then Fine Gael is gaining from the Green Party in Connacht. So we're seeing the map change up very significantly here. We've seen 2 gains from Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael gaining from the Green Party, though the Green Party has been disbanded, so dissolved, whatever you want to say. So that is our new map for now, so I will be updating that. But we will go back over to the spin room so True Donald can finish his answer.
My answer was finished. I was just going to continue to say brainless Bo.
Oh, well done. So let me just go and see that for myself again. Right, okay, we're finally seeing some gains from other parties. Right, as we've seen, Finnefol gain from the Social Democrats in Shannon, and in Munster from Labour, and in Connacht from. Wait, no, that's Fine Gael. Never mind. But two Finnefol gains. Eamon, what do you think about losing a seat to Fianna Fáil in Shannon, considering it's a quite historically Social Democrat constituency?
Well, of course, it's disappointing to see that we lose seats, but I think what we have to now accept is the reality that we might not be able to stick to the current seat count that we have. So there will be losses, but there might be also some gains.
Yes, so you're saying that you're hoping to see some different gains, maybe?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I see. And yes, Oisin, how do you feel about losing seats?
Well, I mean, these early gains for the larger parties, they show a volatile electorate, but we still believe there's a real appetite for a voice that can bring people together across the divide. I mean, we're going to stay focused on representing the sensible center and working with others to deliver a stable and effective government. But hopefully this doesn't turn into huge losses for Labour. Hopefully we can maybe gain some and keep holding some.
Right. Okay, and Donald, well, you've just gained 2 seats from 2 different parties. Are you feeling ecstatic about this?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd be ecstatic about it. I'm actually jumping right now. I'm kicking my feet. I'm doing all sorts of fun little dances. But it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We've doubled our seat count and we're going to triple and hopefully quadruple and hopefully do way more than that.
I see. So, one moment. Okay. So I have just been informed that there has been a leak of the results, the full results.
That's not real.
Is it not?
No, it's
No.
not real. Please don't start. No.
It's a leak. We're allowed to speculate. Come on, guys.
No, it's not. It's not. You can just go to an old result,
Michael
make a
McGrath.
copy of it,
Leak
and then
is a
just.
fake. Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about how realistic it might be. Like what?
Oh
would be
yeah,
the
56% of the
outcome?
vote to one party. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
A lot that can actually happen. That might happen.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think it would
Shut
happen in this
up,
political
Emperor!
climate.
You're not.
Oh
in
right, I'm not in
Spinville.
this room. Let me leave. Yeah, I'll just close the door behind me.
Stop shouting over from the panel. Right. So, so this leak, as I think it showed Fianna Fáil at a majority with 14 seats. What do you think about this? Do you think this is realistic at all, or do we think this is a full, well,
Oh,
totally
we have more
off?
results. We have more results
Oh,
back to the
Really?
map.
Well done.
Oh,
Okay.
What result?
Coming back over to the map, as you can see, it has been updated a little bit from the previous results. But now we have more. The Social Democrats are holding in Shannon and another Social Democrat hold in Dublin South. So, like I said, Social Democrats holding in one of their strongholds. It's very often that we see them taking Shannon, from what I can remember. But we're also holding in Dublin South, which again, the Social Democrats seem to be very good in the Dublin-y kind of areas. So, those are all the results we have for now, but those are 2 Social Democrats holds, so that's not a gain in the seats, but it's not losing them either. So, I mean, as we can see, it's still very diverse. I mean, we're starting to see a picture form, But we are also seeing Fianna Fáil and the Social Democrats tied 3 seats. So it's close still. We cannot call anything. And if the exit poll is to be believed, the Social Democrats don't have a lot more growing to do. Anyway, I'll head back over to the spin room to see what they think about all these results.
Yes, so as I've seen it now, the Social Democrats have caught up to Fianna Fáil. I would like to ask Donald about how do you feel about the Social Democrats gaining on you, basically?
Well, this is very early to call. It's very early to call any sort of scenario. But I congratulate the Social Democrats on this. Say good job that they've done. They ran a pretty nice campaign, actually, I will say. But again, we've doubled our seat count. We've got Ulster, which is where Francis typically sits, and we've got 2 other wonderful seats. So we just have to wait and see what happens this night.
All right. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. I've overlooked the one in Ulster, but yes. So the Social Democrats are up to 3 seats now, and yes. Let's just firstly ask Eamon, how do you feel about these gains, basically? Do you think this is a prediction? Yeah.
Well, we expected to keep those seats. Those are, one of our most strong seats when it comes to our support, and we did expect them to actually be Social Democrats even after this election. But I have to say that I want to actually congratulate Fianna Fáil on the good gains they've had, and I hope that whatever the result may be, we can actually work together, Fianna Fáil and other parties to actually form a government, and even from the opposition to take those parties with on board, to actually fix those issues that we have currently in Ireland. We have so much to fix, but we can't do this alone.
Thank you for that answer. With that, we will go back to the panel.
Oh, we have news from William Cathcart in general chat that the chair of the Electoral Commission has resigned.
This is
That's
silly.
interesting.
I
Probably
no.
not real.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's-
there's
he's-
been an election recall.
What?
What?
Why have
Yeah,
I been
William
frozen?
just-
Why am I
Wil-
standing up and frozen?
William just said since Victoria resigned, there's going to be an
Please
an
ignore what
election
he's
recall.
saying. He's just a bit. He's a bit tipsy. He's yeah.
No,
no.
he's the deep state.
Yeah, but he's just spouting nonsense.
Excuse me, we're not in the spin room. Party leaders, zip it. Panel,
Why is this spin room
how-
commenting? They're not even allowed.
How do we
Anyways, no, I'm
feel
joking.
that Fianna Fáil has doubled seats? The Social Democrats have clawed back and now have 3. Fine Gael at the 3rd largest, and Labour still with 1
It seems
seat.
like Labour's having a bad night so far.
Yeah, Aaron, how do we feel? How do
Oh,
you
no.
feel about this? Come on, speak, girl.
Well, it's not looking good for Labour, is it?
The girls
I
are
mean,
fine.
from one of the biggest parties in the last election to crashing now down to only 1 seat when we have 7, 8, we have 10 seats called already. It's not looking good for Labour.
I'm gonna
Sorry,
pitch in here.
one result being announced here, 1 seat being
my
announced. So, Fianna Fáil has gained from the Social Democrats in Dublin North. Again, I'm always mentioning this is a stronghold, but Social Democrats, they have officially lost a seat to Fianna Fáil now. They're primary contender in this election, where some polls would have you believe. So, the only 2 the only 2 constituencies where we've seen no seats declared is North Leinster or Leinster, if you want to pronounce it like that, and
Fine Gael, by the way.
Dublin. So, oh no, Fine Gael, sorry, Fine Gael. Oh my god, I'm
Yeah,
terrible.
by the
at
way,
this
it was
job.
Fine
Who
Gael.
hired me? Anywho, Fine Gael is gaining from the Social Democrats in North Dublin. So currently, North Dublin is very contested. It depends whether the Social Democrats or Fine Gael get another seat there, whether that constituency will turn blue or purple. But currently, we are seeing no constituencies purple. But we have, yeah, they are the only party who don't have any constituencies that are entirely theirs. So we will go back over to the panel to see what they think of this. But as the results currently stand, it's still a very close election, far too close to call. But Fine Gael are on 3 seats, so they are rivaling the Social Democrats now. Anyway, back over to the panel.
Well, Fine Gael have tripled their seat count already, so we're seeing a big improvement from Fine Gael from the last election. So, and it could go any way with Fine Gael and the Social Democrats currently neck and neck.
I think I'm gonna just butt in here. So I think what is causing Labour's downward spiral is I don't know. I mean, at the start of the term, the last term, they did have a respectable amount of seats, but I think what really damaged them was, when they formed a coalition with the Social Democrats. And don't get me wrong, I think this is also impacting the Social Democrats in a negative way as well. But I think what's really caused this is the fact that, Labour got in the headlines for, the whole Taoiseach nominations debacle. And then, again, when they formed the coalition, even though majority of the electorate wanted an election. So I think that's really impacted them in a way which, well, it's impacted them significantly, really. Has any seats actually been called for them yet?
For him?
Labour's got one.
All parties
Labour
have
has one.
Labour.
Okay, so Labour has one so far. Yes, they'll have representation still in the Dáil, but compared to where they've been these past few elections, it's not a good look, and it's certainly not a good look on the new leader Selwyn, who, in my eyes, he's a respectable individual. Don't get me wrong, but he has got some work to do if he wants to bring Labour back to the top, and I think I don't know. I mean, it's going to take some time for Labour to truly restore,
I do think
their previous image as the voice of the people, because they're all about representing the people, and then I'm not being like, I'm not saying this as an opinion. I'm saying based off like the optics and whatnot. For them to be representing the people and then forming a coalition, even though the people want an election, I think that's just it's going to impact them in a negative light.
We have, in the general chat, a Social Democrat representative and senior party member and parliamentary caucus person has said they will set Fianna Fáil ballots alight. Is this an attempt at election rigging by the Social
No,
Democrats?
because all the Fianna Fáil ballots have already been thrown in the River Shannon, so they can't really set fire to them.
So who said that? Who said that?
We're not a
Rob
Covered
map,
the entire
Dan.
parliamentarian.
No, I'm just curious. Who said that?
The upper echelons of Irish society are burning the ballots. How do we feel about this, panel?
Well, we can just put out the ballots by chucking them in the River Shannon, can't we?
Oh, fuck up. This is so boring, but we're going to power on for the Irish people. Guys, what
No,
on earth is
actually,
going on?
I do think that a major breaking point for Labour voters must have been when they signed that programme for government at the start of the last Dáil, and then they just went back on their promises, and I think that was a major breaking point for many of their voters, and I think that's why they haven't performed as well as they would have liked to this election cycle. We'll see if they can recover that.
Well, I really think we need to go back to the spin room and talk to our party leaders, because it is getting a bit wild in here.
Yeah, it's a bit smoky.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, so
Oh, wait, back to the map. We've got results.
Oh,
Well-
just doing the two as well.
Sorry,
Okay,
Sorry,
over to the map. Well, I haven't actually seen this, but this is batch number 6. There has been 6 counts. We're currently on 11 seats. However, this sets a new precedent with Fianna Fáil gaining from Labour in the Midlands. So that is Labour losing a seat there. Labour has held in Dublin Central though, so they are taking that constituency. Fine Gael has gained from Social Democrats in Munster. And then finally, Fine Gael has held in Connacht. So, or Connacht, I don't know. However, but this does show in the batch 6, so this is now 15 seats have been declared. This is the threshold for a majority. So, I mean, it is quite, again, another shift in the map. I keep mentioning it. But we have had, this is probably the biggest shift we've seen currently. Fine Gael has shot up in seats from one of the smallest parties to now being, I believe, one of the largest parties at this point in time. The Labour Party have held their seat. But it's also important to mention there are lots of gains being held here. Fine Gael and Fine Fáil, they are gaining seats, but they're not losing any. So it definitely shows this massive shift in the electorate, showing that Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, they are gaining seats, and they certainly aren't losing any. So currently, I think we are on track to see at least Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael as one of the largest parties tonight. Going back over to the spin room, I'm sure the party leaders have a lot to say about this.
Right, okay, so let's get back to where we were before I was so rudely interrupted. No, I wanted to ask you before, earlier also, Oshin, do you think this being the smallest party yet, do you think that is your fault personally, or do you think it's other factors? And how do you actually feel about currently being the smallest party here?
Well, I mean, I would definitely take a good bit of accountability for it due to my actions in the previous term. But I think that when Selwyn was elected, the people, they should have realized that I'm not there anymore. I wasn't the leader, so they have someone else new to lead them into the election. I mean, we've held some important ground, and we recognize there's work to do to grow our support. But we're just going to remain committed and offer a pragmatic alternative.
Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, earlier I noticed something very interesting while the Social Democrats and Fianna Fáil gained a few seats. You, Donald and Eamon, you both congratulated each other, which shouldn't be very unusual, but this seems quite like a soft power move, as you could call it, to maybe ease up the tension, and maybe this could also be a hint of a coalition. So, would you maybe comment on this?
Who are you asking the question right now? Are you asking me or Eamon?
Both of you, either of you can start if you want.
Okay.
Say
well,
maybe. We say maybe.
Yeah, it's always a potential option to go for. But me and Donald, we've had a very good cooperation within the government and also in the Dáil. But I'm not ruling anything out just yet, and I'm not confirming anything just yet.
All right. Now I've got another thing to ask you guys. So as we've just seen, Fine Gael has considerably gained a few seats. Basically, they're currently the second largest party, if I'm not wrong. Yes, it's very interesting. As far as I know, they only had one seat in the last term. This would mean they upped their seat count by 5, basically. This is very significant, and I would like to ask you what you believe this means for the outcome of the election. I'll just start with Oshin again.
Sorry, what was the question?
What do you think about the about Fine Gael rising in seats, basically.
Well, I mean, I saw comment Donald and Francis Mr. Sunday had a great campaign, and they took an opportunity when it presented itself. I'm sure they're preparing for this campaign weeks before it was announced. They've been calling for it for quite some time, and to be fair, it's fair play to them. They deserve it for what they've been doing, and they ran a good campaign. So, I mean, they definitely had it coming.
Wait, did I say Fine Fall? I'm sure I asked Fine Gael, basically.
Who's gonna tell her?
Wait, oh, no.
I think that's back to the panel,
Yes,
honestly.
panel.
Okay, come on, guys. We have a new member of our panel, Mr. Sunday. Come on, you
Hello.
can unmute. Look, look at lovely man here. So Sunday, how do you feel about these results?
I'm a bit surprised though, because I thought at this point we would have had at least like 9 or 10 Fianna Fáil seats, but I mean it's going okay so far. I just hope at the end of the night we have one in North Leinster. I used to sit in North Leinster. I had it in Donald's first term. In the second term, we lost by 1 vote and we lost that seat. That was the only seat we lost, so it was kind of a disaster. But we're going to get it back tonight. We're going to get back many more seats tonight, I think. Not a good night for Labour. That's what I've seen. They didn't produce a manifesto. They weren't great on the debate. I haven't seen a lot of people voicing their support for them, and they're down to I don't know what they're at now. They're at like 2 seats, 3 seats. Not good. They're at like 6 before.
They're at
Not
1 seat now, I
good.
They're at
think.
2.
Oh,
They're
No,
at 2.
good.
Okay, well, even worse. Even
That's
worse.
a bit. That's not good, though, is it? Like, honestly, Labour needs to get their act together, because last time we had a party with seats this low, there were threats of deregistration. So after, and it's past watershed,
We
so I can
we had a
swear.
deregistration, but they
We
didn't
did.
make the right decision. They didn't bring in the Progressive Democrats, and now because they didn't do that, you're probably going to see a massive Fianna Fáil majority tonight. It's kind of a shame, but at the same time, it's not a shame.
Right.
If you know what I
So
mean.
if you know what I mean, we have, and I can swear, this term, I think it's the predominant opinion of
Sorry,
Ireland's
we do
citizens.
have some
Ah!
results. I'm so sorry, Neve. So first, Fianna Fáil, they're gaining from the Green Party in Ulster. So obviously a dissolved party. So gains are to be expected from the Green Party. But the Social Democrats, they are also holding in South Leinster, which you could argue is not great for them, considering this isn't a gain. They are only holding, but it's better than they have been doing, with lots of losses in their seats. So again, Fianna Fáil has gained from the Green Party in Ulster, and the Social Democrats have held in South Leinster. So just to round up there, I believe that is Ulster has been concluded. The constituency has concluded their results with 2 seats going to Fianna Fáil, and so has South Leinster. 1 seat going to Labour and 1 seat going to the Social Democrats, and I've seemed to miss it, but we also have the Midlands declaring their seats, 1 to Fine Gael and 1 to Fianna Fáil. That is all for now. Going back over to the panel.
Well, let's
Can I potentially say something?
You may.
So obviously this election is obviously it's being close, because the fact is the whole thing around this is the Green Party was deregistered, right? So that means the whole seats were up for grabs. I think that's what's made things truly interesting, and it also provides more security for other parties as well, because they know there's definitely more seats up for grabs. So I think that's how it's made this whole thing, come to reality. The fact that Fianna Fáil is picking up seats left, right, and centre. Social Democrats are also picking up seats left, right, and centre. Well, I wouldn't say left, right, and centre actually, but they're picking it up. They have a reasonable pace when it comes to picking up these seats. But Neem, I would want to ask you actually, because you're a former Green Party T-shirt.
Yeah.
What do you believe led to the downfall of the Green Party itself?
Look, the downfall of the Green Party. We were set. I say we. I can never cut my soul connection to my party that I won with. But the Green Party was set to, I believe, become government this term here. Now, the motion of confidence against Bo fucked it all up. The Primrose panel that actually wasn't, the Primrose panel that actually wasn't constitutionally a thing for the party, was filled with new gens, with Egypts, and with people that didn't earn a place there. And they were easily talked into getting Bo removed because, unfortunately, Leah, who I thought at the time would have been such a brilliant leader, became leader and screwed the pooch. And I believe, and I can't really voice this here, but I'm going to, hopefully the deep state doesn't kill me on my way home today, but this has been in the making for a long, long time. The Green Party deregistration has not only become an idea now. When I was leader, it was said we would be deregistered for a long time. They are desperate to get rid of it, and this was their opportunity. There were no viable leadership candidates left in the party after Leah resigned. So I think it's fair the deregistration happened. But I think we're seeing this sudden rise in Fine Gael because that's where a majority of the Green Party has gone.
But hang on,
it's all because of Bo, because the fact is she's a relentless campaigner when it comes to
very
general elections and
brilliant
whatnot.
campaigner.
Yeah,
But
exactly, and that's how Fine Gael's been picking up their seats left, right, and centre.
Exactly.
Well, no, sorry.
But I also think that the Irish people are just so pissed off because Labour and the Social Democrats have really fucked them over this year. And except Oscar, he kept a tight ship. It was Fine Gael that made the mistake there. But people are angry. People do not like who we've got here, and I think we're going to see a few party leader resignations after tonight, and we're going to see a very happy Cilio Quinley and a very happy Francis Butler Yeats. But yeah, that's really it. And there has been some controversy there is always controversy over Fine Gael. So I'm really quite shocked. I knew they'd get a gain because of the absence of the Green Party, but we haven't seen numbers like this since December of last year, where Fine Gael was the opposition with Yukwuk. But I didn't predict this. The exit poll, it actually kind of did predict this a bit. But if things carry on the way they're going, we're looking at a very different Ireland at the beginning of this term by Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I've had a call in from Indiana. Miss Violet and her sister are listening, so we just need to give a quick shout out to them. But on the point of Fine Gael, I think when Bo had moved over there, she has this loyal little cohort of followers. I'd say probably about 15 people. They moved over with her. They're all going to vote Fine Gael now. I mean, I know some of them. I know some Green TDs. They moved over to Fine Gael with Bo. They're voting for Bo they're voting for Fine Gael in those RTE polls. They're definitely voting for them in the election. They've moved over. They're voting for Fine Gael now. But I think, given the higher turnout compared to last election when Bo did well, you're probably seeing, I'd say, the ceiling of Fine Gael's seat count right now. That's what I'd say. My professional opinion as a professional panelist.
And we have a call in from Oris and Uachtaráin. We have a Hilsa calling in here. Hello, Hilsa, can you hear me?
Hello, hi.
What are your opinions today, Mr. President?
Look, I just want to say that tonight's turnout was just absolutely uber duper fan-dabby-dozy, and we can all tie that down to the great patriots who turned out today to vote for whatever party it may be, whether it was a green, blue, red, or
purple.
Why can't I think of the fourth color? Purple, that's it. Or the transgender party. And it's up to you to decide which one that is. But most importantly, we have reached record. I believe, did we break a record this election, or am I lying to you?
You never actually told us if we broke it. You told us we were near. So thanks for that.
I did. I'm responsible for that. I told you.
You idiot.
Well, most importantly, I've heard now. I don't know if my private secretary is knowledgeable enough to be correct, but I heard that we have a superlative performance from Fianna Fáil. Would I be correct in saying that?
Head to the map. We can see the numbers.
Let's move
I'm
to the
going
numbers, perhaps.
So yeah,
Oh,
6 to
wow.
Fianna Fáil,
Wow.
4 to the Social Democrats, 5 to Fine Gael, and 2 to the Labour Party.
Well, this is almost certainly a reactionary lurch from Ireland. They're moving back to the right. They're moving back to common sense politics. They're moving away from the woke. You can see that in these results. It's certainly materialized. And I know for a fact that the RT research panel, who I'm in very close contact with, they also have said that many people feel upset with blue-haired people, and that's why they voted for the Blue Party. That's a real line you can use in your headlines tomorrow. Am I joined by Uachtaráin Fianna Fáil here on stage?
You are. Let's head to the spin room where we have the Uachtaráin na Fianna Fáil.
True, Donald, is that you on the line?
Well, he's senior in Fianna Fáil. He's the former Uachtaráin, anyway.
They
Oh,
call
whatever,
me the
same
chief
thing.
in Fianna Fáil. They call me the chief. That's my
The
official
chairman of the
title.
board, even.
People
Chairman of the
say-
board.
Well, no, not that. It's the chief. It's like they call Dave Valera the chief. They call me the chief there. It's a permanent role I have.
You must be
Nobody can-
exceptionally happy that you're in the
Look
lead
at
tonight,
baby
and
Oscar. Look at baby Oscar next to
oh,
me.
this is, by the way, this is extremely in violation of broadcasting guidelines. If only we had an Al Jazeera stream where we didn't have
Oh,
ruined editorial standards.
Game off.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry,
Well,
sorry,
I
no,
just want to leave you all with a lovely message.
Quick.
Okay. No. You can give us the results first. I want to hear it.
Okay. Well, so we have more results coming in. So, if we go over to Dublin South, Fine Gael is gaining from the Green Party. So, that is a loss from the, well, again, we are seeing, because of the Green Party being dissolved, we are seeing them lose all of their seats. So, Fine Gael is gaining there. But Fianna Fáil, they have turned around again in this batch number 8. Fianna Fáil has gained from Labour in Munster, and Fianna Fáil has also gained from the Social Democrats in North Leinster. So if I just gave a round of opinion right now, the Social Democrats, the Labour Party...
That's loud.
The Labour,
Silence on the panel!
the Labour Party has been quite trodden over by Fianna Fáil. I'm not sure if they can pull it back. They'd have to win quite a lot of the remainder of seats. But also, we're seeing the Social Democrats, they're getting kicked to the curb by Fianna Fáil with all these seats being gained from them. But honestly, Fianna Fáil, they flipped the table, flipped the game on its head. Because we are seeing so many of these constituencies flip to Fianna Fáil. We are seeing so many of these seats being gained to Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Anyway, that's all my ramblings from me. I will head back over to Uachtaráin if he's still here and the panel.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wow, this is truly a sad night for Ireland. I mean, what we had anticipated was a progressive Democrat majority, and that has not materialized. That is a sad moment for Ireland. But I'm glad that they have
Well,
settled
you know why
for.
it hasn't materialized? Because we have these people. They're in the Electoral Commission, and they don't know what the people want. They know what the Electoral Commission wants. They don't know what the
You know,
people
rumor
want.
has it that Mr. Sunday is still on disability allowance. Does anyone know why this is?
No, I would put
because-
disability
because they
allowance.
didn't
I probably
reform
would
the
put every
welfare.
allowance.
I actually
They're all gone.
had an email to my Secretary General, my assistant at the office, and it was from Mr. Sunday's office, and they were asking for a lift to be installed in Canada. And I said, "Unfortunately, Ireland is very unacceptable." You know,
Because
I get it
evidently,
from my
because he wants to
constituents,
elevate this
I care
country,
about my
right, guys?
constituents,
oh, it's
and
symbolic. Oh,
Corbyn,
It's symbolic.
Corbyn's actually one of my constituents, and she wanted an elevator in there. So I said, I'm going to email them. I'm going to get them to put an elevator in there because that's what a good TD does. Okay?
there will be no
You
elevator.
wouldn't know a good TD if it hit you in the face, unless I hit you in the face.
Someone
Wait.
teleport me if they have permissions, please.
Yeah. Wait, Mr. Sunday return as a TD. Is that what we're seeing?
Well, we got a seat back in North Leinster, so
Right. Anyway, I think we go to
No,
the
let's continue with the silence. I think maybe they want the silence.
I think
No,
we
but
had-
Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, they could form a coalition government now.
well,
they've got a majority.
There were glory days of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael coalition. Sunday, how about you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, go on.
okay. Well, in the debate, I called Bo and I called her Fine Gael party certain words, and their party leader didn't like that. And then he came into a VC afterwards, and he tried to talk to me about it. But I said, "Listen,
Oh,
I mean, you are it. You're in that little group about those certain words, and I didn't apologize, and I'll never apologize, quite frankly. But he said really, really, really rude words about me, and
oh wow. Yeah,
we've
that's
gone off
terrible.
him. We went off him a little while ago. I'll have to say, like 2 weeks ago, I went off. No, I went off him 3 weeks ago, and then everyone followed suit because he's a nasty man. He's a nasty man. And Bo, she's gonna coup. She's gonna coup Oswald. There's no doubt about that. She got an extra like 10 votes from him and his people, but he's gone by the end of the week, or next week or whatever week you want to say. He's gonna be gone. So we just have Green Party 2.0, but she's gonna pretend to be Margaret Thatcher.
Oh no. Not good enough.
Well, it goes without saying, by the way, that for some reason, I don't know why nobody has mentioned it, but Fianna Fáil have a big moment. They had a big moment of strife yesterday with Fine Gael during the debate, or whatever the debate was.
Sorry,
Are they not?
Batch 9 has been called. So we are having more seats being declared, and it's bad. It's bad for Labour and Social Democrats. Fianna Fáil has gained in both North Leinster from the Social Democrats, and Fianna Fáil has also gained from Labour in Shannon. So those are two constituencies declaring they are Fianna Fáil, and in a shocking move in Munster, they have also declared they're no longer a Fine Gael seat, they are a Fianna Fáil constituency. So, I mean, we are seeing changes all over the board. Like I said, Fianna Fáil, the constituency of Shannon has declared they are a Fianna Fáil constituency. So they have given 2 seats to Fianna Fáil and 1 seat to the Social Democrats. Then up in North Leinster, Fianna Fáil has gained from the Social Democrats, and that constituency has declared 2 seats to Fianna Fáil. Those are all the seats in for now. So that is 10 seats to Fianna Fáil. 20 seats have been called right now. So, I mean, back over to the panel, this is quite a shift. Like I said, this map has gone really green really quickly.
This is incredibly green, yeah.
Ours
It's
is back as
absolutely
You know what?
shocking.
I have
It's
a
gone
friend
incredibly
who
green, but
voted
it's
for
not the
Fianna
Green
Fáil.
Party.
He lives in Dundalk. We're going to have 2 good Fianna Fáil TDs in North Leinster, both from Louth, and they're both going to do great work. That's
Dan,
what I
could
have
you
to
just
say.
shift the camera a bit? We can see the door, love, and we can
Oh,
see
sorry.
you flying. So we have Fianna Fáil has multiplied their seat count by 5. Isn't that something?
Why has nobody mentioned the beautiful studio, by the way? Look at those holograms behind the panel. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that.
Honestly,
Wow.
Yeah,
I think the
they're
one
actually
behind you is the
cardboard
most beautiful,
cutouts. They're not
actually.
real.
Well, I think
Right.
the guy on the right looks a bit heavy. I wouldn't vote for him. He looks a bit. Ooh.
The guy on the right is heavy because he carries the weight of Ireland on his shoulders. That's why he's
Wow,
heavy, okay?
such a spiritual
Okay, well,
leader.
Sunday,
wage of
something-
Ireland or wage of Mr. Sunday? I mean, that's the real question.
But the weight of Mr. Sunday's intellect would add like 20 kgs to anyone's scales, okay? So I don't know what you're talking about. We want to talk about
20
the weight of
kg.
Gillian
By the way,
Clark's
20
That's like
kg.
an
He said it would
extra
add.
10
Hold
stone.
on. He said it would add. Hold on. He said it would add 20 kg to the weight of anyone. Is that 20 kg on top of your already 800 kg, or how does that work?
Oh my god. That's,
Right,
You know,
that's
that's
we
very
terrible.
have,
funny. I
we
think
have
that's very
news
funny.
from
That's-
the
that was just
chairwoman of
great,
the
okay.
Electoral Commission.
You'd wish people in Algeria
Excuse
could get
me!
that weight, but they're all starving, okay? You
What
can't
is
get a
going
piece
on?
You
of
are
food
on
over there.
probation.
Oh, he's gone.
Right. We have
Jesus.
news from the chairwoman of the Electoral Commission. Which one of you fatties said it's incredibly green, but not the Green Party? Expect abuse from me.
Sorry, I
and then
want to
upon
apologise. It's
clarification-
forest green. It's forest
that
green.
was indeed that was me. That was me who said that. Just for
Then he said,
clarification.
"Tell him I'm coming to abuse him."
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh.
That's great.
You
Yeah.
might want to hide, Noah.
Yeah, I'm going to go into my secret bunker
Oh,
because I
I've
think
had-
there's going to be a nuclear missile headed towards my address any second now.
I've had news from the leader of the Social Democrats who is reportedly heading to his headquarters and has been seen leaving the headquarters and the studio, heading to the Social Democrats' office. Does this mean they are scrambling? They're screaming. From what I've got news on the ground from my correspondent there, and apparently there's actually a fist fight broken out in in the boardroom of the Social Democrats office. Eamon McGrath
That's
is
lovely.
reportedly on the floor with a wound
Yeah.
to his head. Things are really happening down there. What?
Sorry,
I
a
think
good-
they're
a good
just doing
point has been
some
brought up.
strategic negotiations amongst themselves about which direction they take the party in after this election. I'd just call it aggressive negotiations.
I just want to say a
It's
good point
nothing
has been brought
particular.
up. Fianna Fáil needs to win every seat for a majority. So if they did win every seat currently on the board, they would have a majority. But that has not happened. We have just gotten seats declared. Fianna Fáil has gained from the Social Democrats in North Leinster, but Fine Gael has stopped them from getting a majority by taking a seat from the Green Party in Dublin North. So Dublin North has declared all of their seats. Their constituency lies with the Social Democrats. So
what is the threshold for a majority? What seat count?
I think it's 13 for a majority.
You need 13 for a majority, yeah.
So
Fianna Fáil
Dublin
is one
North
seat away
and
from a
Dublin
majority.
South, they have oh no, not Dublin South, not Dublin South. North Leinster has. No, why does it? Hold on, there's been an issue with the Electoral Commission here. It totally wasn't me. Fianna Fáil has apparently gained from the Social Democrats in North Leinster, but there are no seats left in North Leinster. I'll wait to see what the Electoral Commission.
Dan,
has
have you
to make up
broken?
that.
Have you broken the Electoral Commission?
Well,
This would not happen. This would not happen if Al
here we go.
Jazeera had an election night. By the way,
we know.
If Gillian was sent back to Qatar.
Also,
So-
I want to say, Dublin was yet to declare. Dublin was yet to declare a lot of their seats. But now, 2 constituencies are now Fine Gael. Dublin North, notably, that used to be Social Democrats. It's now gone blue. So we've seen a massive shift. Again, I'm trying to see what's happening in North Leinster. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's gone blue like Epic Noah has after Victoria got her hands on him.
I'm so confused.
Oh god.
I think no. In count 8, Fianna Fáil gained from Social Democrats, and then count 9, the Social Democrats held in North Leinster. But now in count 10, Fianna Fáil has gained from the Social Democrats again. So is that like a recount or something?
Can the Electoral Commission just please update me?
Right,
on
whilst
all of
we're
this?
fixing up in the map room, we'll head back to the spin room where we have lost our party leader, unfortunately. And we're going to talk to the 2 representatives there. Over to you, Victoria. Vicky.
Silence. No, she's sleeping.
Oh, she's actually not even on the stage.
No, she's sleeping. Shh, be quiet.
Gone. He's
Wait,
gone.
What has she
Shall I
done?
just step in the meantime? Shall I just step in the meantime?
No.
She's
Vicky's
in
there,
the
Vicky's there,
audience.
Vicky,
Oh, she's
come
in the
up.
audience.
Come up.
Hello. Hello.
Silly goose.
hello, hello.
Get the help!
Neither is Aaron, by the way.
So
She's just
right.
You what?
So
You fucking up.
Are you Vic? Excuse me, are you Vic?
Stop!
No, so as it seems you are going to win very bigly here. What do you think?
I have only but gratitude. I have only gratitude for this huge win. It was a huge win.
Huge.
Bigly but huge. And I want to say thank you to a lot of our wonderful campaign staff and also our political staff. I want to give a big thank you to Miss Violet, who helped get out the vote bigly. I want to
She got out
thank
there.
Brian O'Kearney, and I want to thank Checkmail every day. Both of them also great patriots.
We
Great
text it every
patriots.
day.
They helped Fianna Fáil win this in huge margins. And I want to give also special thank yous. These may come as a shock, but to Diarmuid O'Donovan and to Nicholas Creshaw, both of them former FFTC, but they have taught us a lot. They both taught us in different ways.
Great pronunciation, by the way. You must be fluent. You must be fluent. You're great at the.
Try it sometime. It's not the
Things are
easiest. Not the
shaking.
easiest thing.
Things are shaking.
Was that an
Sorry about
outtake?
that,
I
Oscar.
love
Sorry,
Jacob.
Oscar stood up in the
Jacob.
studio. Calm down.
Oh God.
Oh, hold on,
Oh.
the lights are falling. Oh, shit. We have an update from the Electoral Commission. Munster has 3 seats, not 4. Now, this once again begs the question: is Victoria O'Neill senile? Anyway, back to
rigging the election.
It
Well, no,
doesn't beg
because
that
on the
question, to
map,
be
on
honest.
the
It
official
doesn't. It does
map,
not beg that question.
on the official map, it does say there are 3 seats in Connacht and 3 seats in Munster. So I'm very confused because now I have to go
Please
back and
question
see
authority,
everything.
Daniel.
So, oh, sorry.
Please,
sorry,
never question authority. Right, back to the room.
I hate questioning authority. So
Good boy.
thank you.
You'll fit
That's creepy. Don't.
Oh
say
my
that.
God, we used to be a proper country, and now we have Neve Clark on stage saying these things. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, now we have a it's terrible. Yeah, it must be terrible. I was gonna say something, but I won't.
I'm not hearing a lot of thank yous for Uachtaráin Clark, by the way. I don't know why that is. I endorsed at least 5 campaigns, and there was only 4. So
Well, then, were you drunk or something when you were endorsing the campaign?
I wasn't. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink.
Are you sure
You
about
sure?
that? Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that one?
You can't gaslight me. You
What
can't
about
gaslight me into
the
this.
leak?
I
No,
know
I'm not.
I don't drink.
What about the leaked evidence showing that there was?
No.
I'd have to go back. What
about the stash of
alcoholic
alcohol
drinks.
under your desk?
Okay, let's go
Exactly.
back to your tenure as Taoiseach, maybe. Let's go back to your time in office, maybe. Let's, yeah.
Down. Anyways, back to the spin room.
Okay. Right. Yes, Oscar. Oscar has a question apparently. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Oscar.
Well, is he gonna ask?
Come
the
on,
question?
Oscar, spit it out.
He's using text. He's not as advanced.
Do we
as
actually have to? Do we actually have to listen to this mute ask a question in game? This is ridiculous. This is. We need to ban this guy.
We suppress his speaking rights because unless he speaks in VC, he should not be speaking.
And now all our viewers have to tab in to read what he's saying. This is sad.
Exactly.
I mean, it
And
keeps
FG relations soured, Labour unreliable. I think he's describing coalition partners, by the way.
Oh.
Social Democrats unreliable too. So what's the plan? Ooh, good question from Oscar.
Well, clearly you don't
Minority?
trust- Clearly, you
Glaze.
don't trust the plan. But until they recount some of these blue seats, it would be very funny. That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. But,
I'm on it. I'm on it. Everyone calm down. It's happening.
listen, folks, the best is yet to come. Okay, the best is yet to come. Francis, he keeps telling me, he says, don't say anything that will not be nice. But I will say to you, because I'm a very honest person. Francis is honest, but he likes to keep it close to the chest. But what we have here is, I don't think your assessment of unreliability on some of these people is entirely true. And I think we will work with, again, the party that shares our values and is most dedicated to making Ireland great.
Mm-hmm.
The ET's reviewing account, by the way.
Oh, this is when they change the seat numbers because they want
Oh,
TV
count
to go on
9.
longer.
North Leinster was a Social Democrat hold, but Shannon was a Fianna Fáil gain. So there should be like 2 Fianna Fáil and Shannon, I think.
Sorry, I'm just trying to gather all the seats here. I will deliver you a map shortly.
Oh, and now count 10 is being reviewed by the Electoral Commission, whatever that means.
Oh, that means they're going to change the numbers because they don't like them. So, ladies and gents, what else can we speak about? Can we go back to the panel, please, Daniel?
Yeah, of course.
Well, guys.
Oh, hang on. Oh, what's this? Never mind. He wasn't. Never mind.
We've been here for a long time.
2 hours almost.
We've been here for an hour and 39 minutes.
Wow.
We still don't have any majorities showing up unless the recounts show us anything different. But we do have what is a drastic change in a political landscape of Ireland, which I can say I'm pretty sure most of us expected, with Social Democrats and Labour fucking over Ireland, and people really are just they're just looking for something different. And with 4 parties who have all been in government this year, except Fianna Fáil actually, that is quite hard to actually no. Fianna Fáil has been in government. There isn't really any alternatives left, so we have circled back to the party that has been in government within the least time. No, most time. I just don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Does anyone know what's going on at the Electoral Commission headquarters?
Yes, the
No
map is
one.
being updated. It is being fixed. Do not worry.
Is it?
If it's down on this map, I'd say we're gonna get 2 more problems out of this so-called solution. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, bless him, he's colourblind, he can't tell the difference.
Well, no. First, it wasn't my fault. The map was set up wrong, and secondly,
Excuse me.
a lot of
No, you're not.
these counts, they just go missing because they come in on a fax machine. You would have thought RTE would bought a better machine, but no, we're still working on a fax machine, delivering the results to the RTE headquarters. I can't stand this anymore. Sorry, continue.
Powerful, I can't let you stream.
We should invite him back up to
Oh my
see
God,
does he
it's actually
live.
left.
So, Daniel.
Oh!
No, I got moved. I got moved. That wasn't me.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he started
coming back
screaming on
in,
the
the count's
stage.
Can we
coming
all
back in.
please say? Can we all please say thank you, Lewis Doherty, for moving him off stage? You're a good
No,
man.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's a listening show.
That
Our
wasn't
count
me.
again.
That wasn't me. It was someone.
Just remember that this is not Dan's fault. This is Kamala P. Besessar's fault.
No,
She is
no,
creating
it's
a
me.
hostile work environment.
Like, you can't attack another media organisation while we're live on the air.
Killian, Killian is. Get the fuck off my stage.
No, no, please. No.
No, please don't. No, please.
Oh no!
Do we if we have no results, we have so many questions to be asking. I mean, coalition negotiations. I mean, it seems Mr. Sunday and Trudon aren't as depressed or somber about those prospects than the rest of us. So it prompts the question, what do they know that we don't? Who are you talking to, True Donald and Mr. Sunday? Who are you communicating with?
He's talking to the deep state.
Do we have negotiations going on? Will they tell us?
Donald,
Well, you
are
know, I'm in
approaching-
these group chats, but I'm not paying attention because they're really boring. And
Donald,
I'm here. I'm with these exciting people. I'm with Neve McNamara and I'm with Killian Clark.
Very
What could be more
exciting.
exciting in the world? Okay.
More homosexual in the world, it actually could be said.
Nobody said that.
Donald, we're actually all members of Abrahamic religions, which I think is great. No Hindus present.
Hello?
He's gone.
Hello?
Can
But
we
you
get
know,
the
if anyone's
shepherd
doing a
up here?
recount, in the Electoral Commission, I'd just like to say, Francis Butler Yeats, he's drinking a Guinness, so I don't think any other party leader is doing that. If
Can
you want
you
what's
get
best for
that?
Ireland, you might want to change your seat to Fianna Fáil.
That's
all
not
I'm
true.
saying,
That's
okay?
not true. Actually, we're gonna fact check. Eamon McGrath
It is true.
is drinking Guinness.
It's
Eamon
true.
McGrath is drinking Guinness. It's
I thought
you
Eamon McGrath is drinking his little.
You need
he's
to calm
drinking his
down, Mr. Sunday. You need to.
snow water. He's
I'll
drinking
answer on
Finnish
behalf of
snow water.
Donald.
He doesn't even know what alcohol is. Okay, he's over there and he's like, I'm
Xenophobia.
happiest in the world. I've got my free healthcare. But
Mr.
he's
Sunday,
not
this
Irish.
is your you're not the Pope's whole moment. This is your you're not the Pope's whole moment. You're having it right now.
The Pope, he wishes I was his whole. Okay, I'd be a great host.
Oh my god!
You know, otherwise, I love the
So
Pope.
off topic.
Pope Leo
No,
the 14th, he's
think
great. No,
about-
Pope Leo the 13th, he's great.
No. Stop. Remember, we are in war times.
No, Pope
here,
Leo the
ladies and
14th is
gentlemen.
Pope Leo the 14th, not the 13th.
How-
The 13th, he was
how-
great as well. They're both great, actually.
How do you think the Brits that come onto these streams?
So
think
we
of
have
us?
the
When we're
final
talking
result
about
has been
poll,
declared. I'm going to review
Oh.
this, but just going off straight off what I have,
Can we get a stream?
I'm going to
Oh.
confirm that I believe.
Daniel, can we get a stream?
What?
Oh my god!
Can we get a stream?
Can we get a scream?
Possibly?
What do you mean? Can we get a scream?
You're not streaming on
streaming.
stage.
We
You're
are-
not streaming on stage.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
you're not
No.
streaming. It's because you got kicked off the stage, so your stream ended.
Hey, did you do that?
Right, hold on. Sorry, that's
I
the wrong
didn't.
screen.
I actually didn't. It was Lewis Doherty, probably. Oh no, Lewis isn't here.
No,
Okay,
it was
well.
me.
Either way.
Oh.
From what I can see, these are the final results. Connacht has gained in. I'm not sure if it's a gain, but Connacht has gotten the final seat in Connacht. So I'm going to quickly read out the results that was
Connacht?
given here. Connacht, I don't know.
Connacht.
So
Connacht has gained? Question mark.
no. Right. So all constituencies have declared. So Connacht has declared their Fine Gael constituency with 1 seat being awarded to Fianna Fáil, 2 seats to Fine Gael. Then Dublin Central, Fine Gael has gained 1 seat and Labour Party has 1 seat. This is Dublin Central has declared their Fine Gael constituency. Then in Dublin North, Fine Gael had 1 seat.
Wow.
No, had 2 seats. Okay, 2 seats. And then the Social Democrats had 1 seat. Again, Dublin North has declared they are a Fine Gael constituency. Then finally, Dublin South, for the Dublins at least, Fine Gael has 1 seat, Social Democrats have 1 seat, and Fianna Fáil have 1 seat. This is the only Social Democrat constituency, and it's contested at every single seat. And then in the Midlands, we have Fine Gael with 1 seat, and Fianna Fáil with 1 seat, so that gives it a Fine Gael constituency. Then in Munster, Fianna Fáil has 2 seats, and Fine Gael has 1 seat. It's a Fianna Fáil constituency. In North Leinster, which had a lot of source of confusion, Fianna Fáil has 1 seat, and the Social Democrats have 1 seat. It's a Fianna Fáil constituency. In Shannon, a previous Social Democrat stronghold, Fianna Fáil has 2 seats, and Social Democrats have 1. South Leinster, the Social Democrats have 1 seat and the Labour Party has 1 seat. Then finally in Ulster, 2 seats to Fianna Fáil. So we walk out with 10 seats to Fianna Fáil, 8 seats to Fine Gael, and then 5 seats to the Social Democrats, 2 seats to the Labour Party. Fianna Fáil, largest party, Labour Party, the smallest party.
And how many did you say was Fine Gael?
Fine Gael has 8.
Okay, thank you.
Right, can we head to Ahilsa for his live reaction on who he will be giving seals to come Wednesday?
Well, wow. Thank you, Niamh McNamara, for that. Unrelated surname, by the way, not related.
Very
Well, I want to say, looking at the map, if you had shown that map to someone perhaps maybe last year or the year before, they would be totally shocked. I mean, we have obviously had a huge variety in our elections. The results have always been wildly in one way or the other, but this is a map that is extremely different to the map we know. I've never seen a map like it. The political geography of Ireland has been completely changed this election. Now, you can attribute that to True Donald, you can attribute that to Oswald, you can attribute that to anyone you like. I'm not going to say who, but the political geography of Ireland has undoubtedly never been like this before. I'm telling you, from the perspective of someone who has seen these elections come and go for, I think, 5 years now. Now I feel old. I'm telling you that this is a geography in Ireland we have not seen since perhaps the inception of the state, actually, if I'm being correct. We're dealing with a new map here. I anticipate that the next election will be probably similar. The next election will have a similar map. Seats will be looked at differently from now on. People will refer to these seats as Fianna Fáil seats or Fine Gael seats more often than they did previously. This is a huge change for the country, and they say that every election, obviously, but I really do mean that. This is a geographical shift, a demographic shift in Ireland that I have never seen before.
I agree. I've been also for 5 years, and never have I seen this kind of sudden shift, like from one side to the other. That it's unheard of. Has it actually ever happened before, Killian? I don't think so.
Well, no, because we had a system that was coordinated by, I want to say maybe 3 parties. At least heading into this election, we had 3 frontrunners. And now this is a 2-party system that hasn't existed since 2020. This is a 2-party system that hasn't existed since perhaps 2021. Or not even then, actually, because I'm thinking of Labour rather than Fianna Fáil. This is a 2-party system that hasn't happened before. And it was a shift that I didn't see coming. It was a shift that I doubt anyone else saw coming. although the Al Jazeera analyst prediction actually has Fine Gael down as the second largest party and Fianna Fáil as the first. But other than that, this is a historical change that I mean this legitimately. I'm not just saying this to make this election sound dramatic, because I didn't have a sense of drama as it unfolded, but it has been a huge change to the geography of Ireland. This was crazy.
What is interesting to me, though, I wonder if Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are going to both have the party infrastructure to be able to fill all of their seats and like keep their caucuses active. Because if they can't, then that presents a major challenge for them both. Because Fine Gael's Fine Gael's gone from what 1 seat to 8. They're gonna. I just don't know if they have the like infrastructure to deal with that. I don't know if they do. It's going to be really interesting though to see.
That's a concern that was shared, by the way, undoubtedly shared. I've heard many people say I don't think Fine Gael will be able to fill those seats. Obviously, that remains to be seen, and as the next Oireachtas unfolds,
That's arguable. I mean,
with Bo
we go back
as well.
We go back to Bo's influence, for example. We mentioned this earlier. the people that she brought along with her from the Green Party when it dissolved to Fine Gael, I think they'll have options to fill the seat. So
well, yes, now, but eight seats. That's going to be a challenge, probably.
Well, yeah, but now that Oswald has this many seats, it's going to be a real test to see if he can manage to keep his caucus in line. Because the past 2 terms, how many elections he's competed as Fine Gael leader? Like 2. This is his 3rd one. So, and in both of those elections, the maximum he's gotten up until this point was 1 seat. So now that he has a variety of seats at his disposal, it's going to be interesting to see who he puts in those seats and whether he can keep these people in line and remain a united front. Because Oswald is obviously a very, I wouldn't say disliked, but he has a bad reputation for his very significant views, so to speak.
Former Social Democrat Deputy Leader Drew Steve has just released a statement on the election result, particularly regarding the Social Democrats. Obviously, I'm trying to get it up here. Unfortunately, my fears regarding the Social Democrats' performance in this election have been found out to be true. I have been deeply worried about the party in recent weeks, and it is in my opinion that Eamon needs to immediately reconsider his position as leader of the Social Democrats. I send my warmest congratulations to Francis and Fianna Fáil on their brilliant election result. The electorate has signalled their desire for Mr. Yates to become our next Taoiseach, and I believe that it is a popular mandate on which all other parties in the New Dáil have a responsibility to respect. As for the role of the Social Democrats in any potential new government formation, I believe that entering a coalition at this time is not in the party's best interest. It would be for our party to rather provide support to a potential government in order to help deliver upon the will of the Irish people and achieve what's best for Ireland. I don't know about you, but that sounds to me as though not only is that chaos, blood in the water for Eamon McGrath.
It's interesting though, because since March, the Social Democrats have had a relatively nice period of dominance in politics. They've come out as the largest party in two elections in a row, and I think they do need to go away this election and reconsider their where they go from here.
Can I potentially finish my point real quick?
Yeah, go on.
So I'll move on to the Social Democrats thing after. But what I just really want to say about Oswald is, it's going to be a real test to see if he can keep his caucus in line, because he has that reputation of being, one of the most disliked people in Ireland simply because of his views. So now that he has a variety of seats, it's going to be interesting to see if he can be a leader of his party and whether he can lead throughout the next Dáil, and if his caucus will be willing to back him throughout that entire time. Because there's been talk. Well, I wouldn't say there's been talks from party sources, but there has been, rumors in the air about a coup. I mean, Bo's already denied this, but you can't deny it. It is in the air. It should, Oswald not live up to expectations. But not only that. Now that I'll move on to the Social Democrats thing. So with Drew, obviously he's a former chairman. For Christ's sake, he's a former chairman and now former deputy leader. And for a former deputy leader who was served under that same leader to be saying, "Oh yeah, I don't believe that Eamon should be serving as leader anymore," I think that that is big. Obviously, this is Eamon's first time competing in an election as leader of the Social Democrats, but you know, I think if with it could be worse for the Social Democrats. Let's be real. I mean, how many seats are they on now? Like 6? I think?
5.
5, I believe.
5. Yeah, it could have been worse for the Social Democrats. I mean, they've managed to. I mean, yeah, they've taken a big hit, but they've also not had a devastating night, so to speak. I mean, yeah, they've fallen off the face of the earth, but you know, they still have a platform to build upon. So,
Well,
if they use that term wisely, then I think Eamon would be capable to stay as leader.
Well,
But
Eamon released a statement in rebuttal, and he said, "I just want to point out that Drew X Steve did resign only 1 week into his term as deputy leader of SD for personal reasons." He also added this just now: "The Social Democrats Democrats condemned the disgraceful statement, and let me just tell you to Drew X Steve, you were the one that left the party. Your opinion on my leadership matters as much as leaves falling off the trees."
Ow.
That sounds to me, I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't want to throw Eamon under the bus here, but that sounds like the statement of someone who is a bit insecure at the moment because of the statement. It sounds like the words of someone who's a bit vulnerable because of it.
Could I throw something in there that might be a scenario here? What if, and again, this is literally a theory. This might not be true, but if the former deputy leader is going against the leader he served under, could that spell tension? Especially considering that Drew actually competed against Eamon for the Social Democrats leadership, and then became deputy leader under him. Could that spell? Could that be showing the tension that that there might have been tension between the two during the time that Drew did serve as deputy leader? Because if you wouldn't go against your party unless you really, well, I wouldn't say you really hate the leader, but you don't have favorability towards.
Well, yeah, personally, I think when you release a statement like that, it shows. I don't know if it says anything about his tenure as deputy leader because it's hard to look into that. That's in the past. That's retrospective. We would be speculating a lot, but I want to speculate.
He served on the Oscar, for Christ's sake.
Yes, but when it comes to his longevity, I don't think that paints a picture of he disagreed with Eamon when he was deputy leader. I think what it does show is that he took this election seriously. People had high hopes for the Social Democrats, and perhaps they simply didn't materialize. And I think personally, also the way Eamon responded, and I believe it was a cool statement. Sure, I think I think his words were fine, but I think it definitely illustrated someone that is insecure because of what Drew said. Maybe not insecure personally, by the way. I wouldn't make a statement like that. That would be irrational. But definitely in a vulnerable position, in a difficult circumstance because of what Drew released. Also, undoubtedly, Drew was never really into external politics. He was into party politics. He was chairman. He wouldn't have a big position in the Dáil. I am going to bet a lot of money right now. I would bet anything that Drew has insiders in the party that agree with him. That Drew has, as someone who is familiar with the party infrastructure of the Social Democrats, he has more than just a few friends in the party. He probably has friends in high places.
Yeah. I honestly reckon, right? If
we have
Eamon
just
was
received the full results.
I know what you're
by the
about
way.
to say. I know what you're about to say.
Okay.
Election results in there in the
It's
announcement.
so hot
yes,
in here. It's 22
but-
degrees.
No, but could there be? Let's say Eamon resigns, right? Could there be a potential second run for leader by Drew? Is that? I don't think that.
I see that happening. I see that happening, and I never say this about leadership elections because I've never ever viewed leadership elections as a threat. I think if you're an incumbent party leader and someone is trying to oust you, I've never seen that as a threat. I think it's very easy to overcome. It's not that difficult. I'm going to change my narrative on this one. I do see Drew as a threat. He was someone who was in the party a long time before trying to pull this move. If this is a leadership election, this is speculation, I should add. And I do see him as someone with connections in high places, especially with Eamon McGrath prior to the statement, obviously. And it obviously stung a little bit. I would be worried. I would be concerned. And that's not to just drum up a narrative against the Social Democrats. I'm sure Eamon is relaxed and comfortable. I'm just saying I wouldn't be.
I bet he's relaxed.
I mean, if the leader is reacting immediately if the incumbent leader is reacting immediately like that, oh yeah, you've done why are you talking? You've been doing. Oh, actually, I've just received a statement from the Social Democrats deputy leader. So, would you mind if I read that out?
Yes, I've received the same thing. Please go ahead with it.
I'll read this now. So the deputy leader of the Social Democrats has just said.
Eamon, fix your shit.
Official.
Oh my god.
I'll send it to you, Neve.
The Social Democrats deputy leader of the Social Democrats. I acknowledge and appreciate Drew's concern regarding the outcome of the election and his commitment to the future of our party. We must also recognise that Eamon was duly elected as leader of the Social Democrats by our membership, and this recent election marked his first time leading a party through a national campaign. Leadership is a journey, and it is only fair that we allow space for growth and learning. This is a time for unity, not division. Our priority must now be to reflect on the result, listen to our supporters, and work constructively to build a stronger and more fairer Ireland. That.
I hate to interrupt, but Eamon McGrath has added to his statement to the press. He has said, I understand that we did not gain seats, and now is the time to rethink our strategy. But he himself did absolutely nothing as the deputy leader. The people wanted Fianna Fáil to lead an administration, and our campaign was the most active in a while. There was a mountain to climb, and we did not achieve it. After 5 months in government, the people wanted change. Again, I think Eamon McGrath speaks from the heart, and I think he's absolutely sincere in what he's saying. The problem is that he's saying a lot, and it comes across as someone who is absolutely throttled by the threat.
This is nothing. This is nothing personal against Eamon, right? I like him. He's a respected individual. But you know, for him to be making statements like that, it suggests that he's on the defensive a bit. Which I mean, if he's attacking the deputy leader that he appointed at the start of his leadership term, then that just only shows that, you know, he's going on the defensive because, well, I wouldn't say the allegations are true, but maybe he's threatening to expose something that could derail his entire leadership. That I wouldn't say that for a definite, but
I don't know. I just think the strategy around internal leadership campaigns. I don't know why we're dwelling so much on the Social Democrats. By the way, they just seem to be having a bit of a spiff in the moment. But I just like. I just at the moment, but anyway, I think because I do think we should be remembering that this is unfortunately, and I mean that from the heart, this is unfortunately, as much as the deep state didn't want it, this is True Donald's moment. He fought against the swamp. But I mean, this is the strategy for so long around leadership campaigns has always been, you know, address it, move on, and I feel as though that Drew XD potentially has exposed a deep crack in the party. He has exposed something that a vulnerable position Eamon is in. And I absolutely would be terrified, unfortunately. I don't see myself as someone who often gets scared in campaigns. I don't feel intimidated by opponents because I know that elections are just about telling your story and doing the best you can do in that moment. It's a matter of circumstance. But this is legitimately a vulnerable position for the leader of the Social Democrats. Also, I have a huge statement from the former Taoiseach and Social Democrat leader Noah Finsby. If people want to hear that, it's a long one. Would you mind if I read it?
Could I just nerd out?
Former Taoiseach by quite a few years, I think.
Wait, what did you say, Dan?
Could I just quickly talk about the map? I won't take long.
No, you can.
Go on.
Just looking at this
Dan,
map, so many of these constituencies are green, and I think it's just such a big thing we should be looking at, because I mean, we never really take into account that these seats, I mean, I know we can't like actually go to these places because we don't have the cities for each of them, but you know, it's a lot of green on the map, like, and even though you see it in the constituencies, you also see like the Fianna Fáil influence in each little constituency as well. Like they've got a hold in Connacht, even though that is a Fine Gael seat. They've got a hold in Midlands, even though that's a Fine Gael seat, and in South Dublin as well. So Fianna Fáil, they've really got their hands everywhere if you look at the whole map here, and I just think it's something very interesting to look at. Another thing is, I think we should go over to True Donald at some point, considering his party has just won this election.
Maybe.
Anyway, back over to Killian.
Oh, by the way, I would just like to say that whoever forms a government will get that spot on the Supreme Court, because there is one vacancy right now on the bench.
Oh,
so that would be interesting.
I heard it's Newt McNamara for Supreme Court.
Wow.
It would be. I think it would be interesting to see. Obviously, we obviously know that the next government is going to be containing Fianna Fáil on it, because, well, it'd be stupid not to, because they have the largest amount of seats. But also, and yes, and apparently I've disconnected from the game again. So I think what we need to realize is, well, not realize, but I think what we need to wonder is, request permissions. What we are left to wonder is, who will Fianna Fáil coalition with next?
Oh, I'm in the studio, am I?
Dan, your map is wrong. Your map is wrong. Fianna Fáil has both seats.
Can someone bring me, please?
Fine Gael doesn't have one.
Guys, let's not talk about doubt the integrity of RTE by saying on live.
Well, there's no doubt about it. RTE sucks. There's no doubt about that, is there?
No, this map is entirely correct.
I
I don't know what you're talking about.
Be a good boy.
Daniel, look at the RTE channel.
Daniel!
Daniel, you are being
both
very
Midlands
naughty.
are Fianna Fáil, so Fianna Fáil has 11 seats.
Right, no, hold on. I'm going to carry on with what I'm saying. So,
okay,
Fianna Fáil, they're going to be the largest party, right? But I think what's going to be the most...
sheet says 10 seats. The sheet says 10
thing
seats.
is... Oh my god, Daniel, shut up! Shut up, honestly.
But this is
too much.
No, why
you talk too much.
Rude man, rude man.
Too much.
Okay, this is getting silly now.
I was the one.
Nice words only, please. No.
3, 1, 2,
No,
3. No. Shut the fuck up.
Nice words only, please.
No.
Nice words only.
No.
Okay.
That Emperor, you're not testing me right now. We do not.
Sorry, what
speak
was that?
over
What was that?
Emperor.
No. So what I was trying to say was,
I can't hear you over all the voices.
Oh my god.
He's
just been removed.
Fucking
Right,
voices.
anyway, as I'm trying to say, Fianna Fáil, they'll be the next government. But I think what we the true interesting question is, who do they coalition with? Because looking at the election results, they obviously have Fine Gael as an option, but I don't believe Fine Gael will necessarily be open to coalition. Maybe they will. Maybe I might be wrong, but I don't think they will, considering their good momentum. They'll probably want to keep going on with that. Social Democrats, maybe they're an option. It would really, if they were to coalition with the Social Democrats, it would give them a 5-seat majority in comparison to Labour, and in comparison to Labour and Fine Gael, which would only be 10 seats as an opposition. But if they were to coalition with Fine Gael, that would give them 18 seats overall. So really, it was at this point, it's they have a lot of options on the table, but I think the one they'll go for is, who will be, I wouldn't say sell out to them the most, but who will
It will
line
be.
up
It will
more?
be. It'll definitely be who I without a doubt it'll be who is, unfortunately this is the way coalition negotiations work. Obviously it's whoever's suitable, because after most elections there's only one or two options, two at most. But at an election like this, it's definitely, almost indefinitely, who is going to give Fianna Fáil
I
the
would
most.
say it's more of in the way of who benefits Fianna Fáil most. That's what they'll be looking for, because they're not going to go with Labour, because we all know what happened last time with the Democratic opposition fiasco. They won't go with Labour because
they haven't ruled anything out, so we can't.
Well, listen, just hear me out.
Can we just do our final statements, and then we'll head in front of the
Oh.
table and take a lovely
Yes,
family
I will,
photo?
if you let me finish my goddamn point. But Labour, they won't. It's hard to say if they will be an option, not because of that, of what I just mentioned earlier, but because of their seat count. It wouldn't be sustainable. So really, the realistic options are either the Social Democrats, who they also fiercely went against last term, or Fine Gael, which I wouldn't say they've been friendly with, but they have been civil with them. Well, yeah, it's still too early to tell. I mean, the election's just concluded, so I think we'll just have to wait.
For someone who's said a lot, you've really mastered the art of someone who has You've said a lot, but you've really said nothing there, Epic Noah, and I thank you for that and your service to this nation.
Right. Well, we have had a wild ride tonight, RTE, And
Okay, take me out to dinner first. Whoa.
Whoa.
I'll
Oh.
just say, Ireland's a very
Darcy-
beautiful nation. It has a very beautiful map. I've loved looking at it tonight. It would
Well,
look better
I
with
never got
Northern
to. I never
counties,
got to
but-
read my statement from Noah Finsby, by the way.
Oh, do we have to read
yeah,
it?
probably.
Well,
there's
I'll
a
try
reason.
summarize it. I'll
Yeah,
try
just
summarize it.
summarise
I'll
it.
ask him for.
Yeah.
I'll ask him for a shorter comment.
I mean, there's probably a reason for that.
He can post it in full though to a media channel, and they'll post it.
Yeah, probably.
Let me just do our
Um,
closing statement to be done
well,
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll go
just do
first,
closing
guys.
statement.
It's okay. I hope everyone had a lovely evening, and I'd say buckle up and get ready for the 30-second dial. It's going to be an interesting one, and we'll probably see you next time before the Shannon elections next month. Thank you, everyone.
Well,
Oh,
let's
Jesus.
thank a few people here. I mean, first we have to have a massive thank you to Neve for building this entire studio. I think she
Guys,
deserves our
honestly.
gratitude tonight because
Well,
honestly,
you know,
it
I
wouldn't
do
have
love
happened
Neve, but
without.
we have to remember that Lewis actually did the renders. So just let's give our totes to Lewis maybe instead
Thank
of
you to
Neve
Lewis
because we don't
for
really
not
like
only running
Neve.
this community
You-
alongside William, but for also providing the renders.
They're
We also
talking
want to
about
thank
me.
the Electoral Commission, obviously Maxi
I'm
and
the community,
Victoria.
but not
They
you.
both did amazing tonight, even with the confusion.
Woo!
It's never the Electoral Commission's fault. I'd also like to thank all the panel members. That was Noah, Neve, Mr. Sunday, Emperor, and Erin McNamara. Shout out to the McNamaras, by the way. They make everything possible. Thank you to
Wow.
Anoctaron Killian for coming up here tonight. He really didn't need to spend his evening with us, but he did. Victoria O'Connell, who did the whole leaders thing, who was like managing everything there. But then also to thank all the party leaders who come up here. Killian has always mentioned, like, it's crazy how many people, how many party representatives we can get up now. And it's lovely to see that we had True Donald for Fianna Fáil, we had both Blah Blah I Don't Care and, what was his name? Eamon McGrath for the Social Democrats, and O'Sheen coming up for Labour. It was lovely to have you all. I feel like I'm missing someone. Who have I not thanked yet? Oh, Dave, as always, for being the group staff who's always involved with this. It's lovely. Thank you for contributing everything you do. It's needed a lot. And Mr. Sunday also, who was on the panel. And I think that's everyone. So thank you all again. Shout outs to the McNamara family.
Also, you're forgetting
for
who the
watching.
winners are. You
Thank
should
you
tell
for
everyone
watching.
about who.
Dan, we're not done yet. For fuck's
No, I'm
sake.
just saying, thank
Come
you for
sit in
watching.
front of
Dan, can you move the
Not-
camera back, please? Because you're
Yeah.
really close up in our
Yeah.
faces.
Mr. Sunday, come stand here.
Yeah, come on.
We're taking our end of night.
Come
self-
on, England.
Everyone's taking a big bow there, I think.
Yeah, and then if Dan goes next to him.
Yeah,
This is the end of Company by Stephen Sondheim.
thank you.
Don't
Dan, you're facing it. Dan,
cry.
face towards the camera. Dan, yeah, face.
I'm
yeah.
gonna, yeah. Well, obviously this election's been very interesting. Congratulations to Fianna Fáil on their very resounding election win. Like Emperor said, buckle up for the 30-second dial. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, it'll be less chaotic than the 31st because oh my god, that was probably the worst time to exist.
Hope the behaviour improves. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, just generally very good election night. We had a lot of input from party leaders, panelists, the map guy.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, lots of memories
I
made.
can't wait to
yeah.
see the Shannon. I think
Can I just
Memories-
add? I just want to add
memories
something
have
really short.
memories
This
that will
is really
last
brief.
a lifetime. And
David's. Someone said buckle up for the 30-second dial.
That was me.
David's misheard that as buckle up for the 30-second dial.
What?
Oh my god. Right.
As in, this isn't going to last very long.
But
Oh.
yeah, this is going to be a
That's what I
very
thought he said as well.
as to who Fianna Fáil coalition
Oh,
with. let's
we've
say
just
it-
got- Have
Oh.
you seen this? Jessie said
It's
she's
so
running for-
annoying. Okay, listen, when we're
She's
not
running for
streaming, you
re-election
people,
as Ken
you people
Corlett.
will never give us these statements when the cameras are off. But once the limelight is on you, you want to steal the attention, don't you, you greedy people?
Yes.
Right.
But no, just to wrap it up, thank you to these panelists and RTE for getting this election stream up and running. And yeah, great night.
Yeah.
Well, Ireland, that's us for the night.
Thank
We are
you and good
ending-
night.
Wait! We're ending.
Wait, we
with
did a
you
picture.
all.
Let Neve speak.
I
Oh
already
my
did.
god.
honestly, we're ending Fianna Fáil on 10 seats as the largest party. Fine Gael on 8 seats, the Social Democrats on 5, and Labour on 2. And you would almost think I knew the results before the election started because I actually ordered the parties in the correct order as they are on the map. Anyways, Gurmagut, everyone who came on tonight, the party leaders who campaigned so hard. I hope you all feel content with your results, and if you don't, I hope you resign. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, Achilsa, as always. Thank you, Al Jazeera, for not putting up a fight at all and just bowing down to your.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
By the way,
next
the
time. We'll see what
Social
happens.
Democrats have rejected the any coalition with Fine Gael. Just I should put that out there.
Well, there we
I've
go.
been sending an email.
Oh
yeah.
Can I also just say, 167 views is massive. Thank you to those who've watched this. I think we also had like a peak of 30 people in the Discord stage. It's a 2-hour stream as well. Like, we've had so many people tune in. And also, I saw 1,000 views for Eurovision. People really love Eurovision. And it makes me so happy to see all these people flocking to watch these RTE streams. Like, it's genuinely crazy to me. I said so many thank yous tonight. But truly, the biggest thank
Also,
you
don't
goes
forget
to
the
the
turnout, by
audience.
the way. Record-breaking turnout. What the hell?
Well,
That turnout was insane. Yeah.
44 spoiled ballots. Those were probably the ones I ordered from Russia. They arrive, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
They were
ridiculous.
chucked in the River Shannon. I saw them do it. Yeah. Victoria, I
true.
saw her. Yeah.
Floating down the river.
Damn straight.
Well, yeah, just remember, if there are any Brits listening, we have the high turnout. You don't.
We have a record high turnout. We have a meteoric rise of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, a change in the political landscape, a new RTE studio, Ireland's 5th anniversary, first Citizens' Day. Everything has aligned. We will see you next month for the Shannon elections, and the one final
Another election. Oh God!
The Supreme Director General. Kamala
It's the
Peter.
midterms.
Can we
Stop! Everyone salute Kamala.
Everyone,
Can we
say
just
thank you.
can we just declare the Shannon
You-
chamber again?
Can you stop?
You have serious problems with speaking over people.
Thank
I mean,
you.
what's going on?
You're speaking over me right now. Thank you to Supreme Director General Kamala P. Bicester, who does so much for RTE. Very busy woman who has actually a very important real life job, yet finds time for this.
Midwife.
Housewife who finds time for this stupid shit on Roblox. But anyways, that is RTE for tonight. Grima Mailigut, Agus.